Good morning, everyone. We will call the meeting of the Circuit 13 Juvenile Justice Advisory Board to order. My name is Rocky Brancato. I chair the board. And if we would all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we will do roll call of board members.
Travis Coy.
Present.
Gina Justice.
Present.
Beth Pasick. Present. Lieutenant Matthew Kamat.
Here.
Honorable Donna Cameron Cepeda.
Here.
Chrissy Dorian.
Here.
Conchita Canty-Jones. Oh, she's excused. Laura Byrne, excuse me. On our youth members, Lyra H. and Tina P. Reverend Dr. Glenn Dames Jr. Sarah Grimming.
This is Heather Cazzola filling in for Sarah today. Present.
Markesh Thomas. Latrice Rowell. Pam Jeffrey.
Here.
Kimberly Williams.
Here.
Davia Labors is excused. Rob Parkinson.
Here.
And that concludes the attendance roster.
Okay. Why don't we go around the table and just do introductions, starting with Major Grice.
Good morning, Major Grice, Hillsborough Juvenile Detention Center.
Good morning, Judy Royston, Juvenile Diversion.
Good morning, Gina Justice, Court Administrator, 13th Judicial Circuit.
Good morning, Kim Williams, Chief Operating Officer with Children's Network of Hillsborough.
Hey, Pam Jeffrey, Success for Kids and Families.
Good morning, Heather Cazzola, Children's Services, Hillsborough County.
Good morning, Beth Pasick, Community Development Administrator, Department of Children and Families.
Good morning, Debbie Kane, Character GPS.
Good morning, Jeff Kane, Character GPS.
Good morning, Laura Byrne, Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine.
Ryan Egg, Juvenile Justice Assistant Chief.
Kelly Hammersley, Juvenile Justice Chief Probation Officer.
Good morning, Rocky Brancato, Chief Operations Officer at the Public Defender's Office and Chair of the Juvenile Justice Board.
Rob Parkinson, Hillsborough County Criminal Justice Office and Vice Chair.
Chrissy Dorian, Hillsborough County Public Schools, Juvenile Justice Transition Department.
Good morning, Donna Cameron Cepeda, Hillsborough County Commissioner, District 5, countywide.
Matt Comment, Lieutenant with the Tampa Police Department.
Good morning, Travis Coy, Office of the State Attorney.
All right, thank you, everyone. Has everyone had a chance to review the March 2023 minutes? There's an error on the agenda. It's 2023, not 2022. Are there any motions?
I'll move to approve with the change.
Motion approved by Mr. Parkinson.
Motion to second, Beth Pasick.
Seconded by Beth Pasick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, they will pass. Chairperson's report. Do not have a report for this meeting today. Committee reports. The data-driven subcommittee report, Ms. Royston.
Good morning. The Data-Driven Decision-Making Subcommittee met on May 10th.
The potential areas that we're focusing on are utilization by each law enforcement agency, reasons for not issuing civil citations, utilization of surrounding counties and what processes other counties have in place to increase our utilization rates. Presently, we're going to look at law enforcement's SOPs regarding civil citation. The last MOU for civil citation was signed in 2021, and we're looking to see if the SOPs align with the current MOU. We're also looking at the reports that are produced. We have a DJJ Missed Opportunities report. We have a quarterly report, just to see how they match up, where are we missing opportunities for youth getting civil citations, and looking at barriers. When the youth goes to shelter, sometimes it could be cumbersome for law enforcement. We're also looking at what procedures are in place for DV. And then education. When was the last time we went out and did any type of education on our current MOU? What's out there regarding education? And so right now, that's our next meeting will be next month. Karen Butterfield is also helping us with the DJJ dashboard and statistics and how the DJJ dashboard relates to our county. So that's it, if anybody has any questions.
Questions for Ms. Royston? We did find out through Ms. Butterfield that the data is compiled based on all of the available charges that can get a civil citation versus how each jurisdiction sets which charges are eligible. Under the statute, each jurisdiction gets to choose which statutes are eligible. We've moved a long way to having nearly every statute eligible, but there are some disqualifiers, battery on a specified employee, if there's an objection to it, and then there's some exclusions for when there's a concern for the safety of the community that has to be documented. But the data for each circuit is not necessarily apples to apples comparisons because each circuit is going to have different criteria. But Ms. Royston, I thank you for chairing this. I know it's a heavy lift. I believe we're going to move the needle pretty shortly because some of the things we're discovering are pretty easy fixes, just kind of getting up in line with our new MOU, which is a lot more progressive than past versions, and education. And some of the fixes, such as the drop-down box on the ECRA, is just a matter of kind of showing people how to do it. And so we're going to move the needle, and I think that's great. Member updates. Department of Juvenile Justice.
Yes, I wanted to share with the advisory board today. Currently, we have 1,519 youth that are open in Hillsborough County that have charges. Of those, we have 303 youth that are currently on some type of supervision, whether that be probation, post-commitment probation, conditional release, and Walker Plan probation youth. We also have 17 youth that are currently on electronic monitoring, and we have a total of 21 youth that are on supervised release. In addition, we have 5 youth that are on a form of supervised relief that are assigned to the reporting center, and we have 26 youth that are currently placed in a residential commitment facility. And that's the information I have for today. Does anyone have any questions for myself or Assistant Chief Ag?
Thank you, Ms. Hammers.
Good morning. Currently, we have 52 youth in our custody. We have 6 youth that are waiting on placement out of Circuit 13. We're currently housing 2 other courtesy hold youth that are waiting on commitment from Circuit 6. We have 17 vacancies. However, our vacancy rate has went down since our last meeting. And we've had consistent volunteer community service hours coming through. We had 16 volunteers to provide about 30 hours of volunteer service. So that's starting to increase within the community. People are reaching out to want to visit the detention center and provide some kind of service for the kids. We have a major project going on right now with our portable classrooms being renovated. Everything's being done except replacing them. They're having a new roof, new siding, new flooring, new lighting, new cabinetry, just trying to make a better learning environment for the kids. And that project is just about midway done. So we're looking forward to the completion of that so that we can resume class as normal. Right now, we're modifying those classroom settings, and the kids have adapted pretty well considering we're in the cafeteria, we're on the mods, we're in multi-purpose rooms, but the kids appreciate the fact that the opportunity for education hasn't decreased due to the portable renovations. Other than that, it's detention as usual. Any questions? All right.
Thank you, Major Grice.
You're welcome.
Civil citations, Ms. Royston, you did give us an update, but how about the current numbers for this past month?
Processed 64 civil citations, 42 were in the community and 22 were school referrals. The dominant charge was battery, and then followed by domestic violence, battery domestic violence with 15 referrals. And then interesting enough, April of 22 and April of 23 were our highest months. So something about April and maybe getting out of school. But so April of 22, we processed 63 referrals, 49 in the community and 14 in the schools, with the dominant charge being battery. And if there's any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Sins Fins, Ms. Cazzola.
Good morning. So we ended April with a total of 280 bed days for SINs and 101 days for DVCC. We currently have 7 TCO, 4 SINs, 1 DV, 1 DVCC, 1 Safe Place, and 4 DCF youth. And that is all I have for my report. Any questions?
What is TCO?
That's our truancy.
Okay.
Truancy court ordered 2 SINs fins to the Lake Mag.
Thank you, Ms. Cazzola.
You're welcome.
Is anyone here from prevention?
Yeah, Pat McGee couldn't be here today, but she was at our graduation at Stewart Middle on Wednesday. So we've been there now 10 years at Stewart Middle doing our program. We also just completed our pilot at Seminole Heights Charter High School. So it was successful, had our graduation, and we're going to be expanding our program with them as well as over at West University campus. And we just got our grant renewed with Prevention DJJ out of Tallahassee. So we're going to be reaching more kids.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kane from Character GPS.
Yes.
Any other prevention news from the department? Okay. We'll move on to new business, the Anti-Bullying Award Program. Mr. Parkinson?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a reminder, Hillsborough County has an annual anti-bullying award program for youth that have taken a stand against bullying either in the community or in the school district. The program is open through June 30th, and basically it's a nomination for an award from the Board of County Commissioners. The successful youth or group of youth that wins this award will be brought to the Board of County Commissioners meeting in October, which is National Anti-Bullying Month, and given a very nice statue and allowed to make a speech. There's also, and we don't advertise this, there's a cash award from a community donor that goes along with that. It's meaningful. So I want to make sure that folks knew that the program is, submissions are due by June 30th. So please, I know everyone's busy, the end of the school year, lots of stuff going on in DCF. lots of transition and change. But if you are aware of a youth or group of youth that have taken a stand against bullying, either in an individual act or by implementing a program to address bullying, or even if it's another program that also happens to supplementally address bullying, please take the time to nominate that youth or group of youth. We've made it very, very easy this year. In the handout, you'll see a little QR code down at the bottom. All you have to do is scan that. It will take you to an online form. And this is not a 30-page grant application. It is a very brief, 500 words maximum. This, you know, my son Johnny stopped a bullying attack in Sable Park, and this is what happened. Again, you don't have to go into a lot of detail. Our Anti-Bullying Advisory Committee will form a subcommittee to review the applications. If they have supplemental questions, they'll call the nominator and get that information. And then again, they've done a great job at picking some really, really worthy children over the years. We've had kids, one youth turned around, took the donation and bought defibrillators for a county park to protect kids from having cardiac arrest during football practice. So just some really, really quality youth that are being selected through this program. So again, if you have an opportunity, if you know of anyone, pass it around at your agencies. Please nominate a worthy youth. Thank you. And again, it's in your packet, just like this.
Thank you, Mr. Parkinson. I'll go back to Chairperson's report. Just note, we're very fortunate to have Dr. Reverend Glenn Dames on our board. One thing that we have not really mobilized in a long time is the Faith Committee. And I'm going to put that on the agenda for the next executive meeting if people have thoughts about whether or not there's a need to mobilize the Faith Committee and how it may be mobilized and what it may be able to do for the children, the department, that type of thing. I just wanted to put it out there to think about that. We'll move on to presentations. Today we have Mr. Freddie Barton. He's the Executive Director of Safe and Sound Hillsborough. And he's going to start by playing a 16-minute film called Blink. And it deals with youth gun violence, which we all know is becoming an increasing problem here locally. And so let's turn our attention to Mr. Barton.
Good morning, thank you, and good morning. The last time I was before you, it took me a little longer to walk up to the podium. I'm grateful to have physically healed, but today I come to you a little emotionally hurt, simply because we have this issue that we have to talk about. You're going to see some numbers in this film. I'm not going to talk too much. We'll have a discussion after. But some numbers you're going to see: 300 shootings, non-fatal and fatal, in the city of Tampa and parts of Hillsborough County in the year 2022. Those numbers eclipse the numbers from the previous year in 2021. If you do the math, that's an average of 25 shootings in every month, less than one per day on a month. Let's fast forward to 2023 and let's just look in the last 7 days, just juveniles. In the last 7 days, we've had 10 juveniles to appear in juvenile detention hearings on gun-related charges. Of those 10, we have an average age of 15. We have 3 that were 14, including 2 that threatened a mass shooting at schools. This is not just a gun violence issue, it's a mental health crisis, it's a public health crisis. And these are just males in the last 7 days. So we're already beating the numbers from 2022, to give you a little perspective. Last year, Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners allowed Safe and Sound Hillsborough to receive some funding to lift up a pilot project. Part of that is to provide education and awareness. And we, in partnership with Axion Pictures, put together a short film entitled Blink. We held a premiere on March 20th. We had a little over 700 people to attend at the height of it. And we have since shown this film in various settings, including today and next week we'll be at the Anti-Bullying Advisory Committee. And on June 1st, we are working for the public release of this film because June is Gun Violence Prevention Month. And therefore, the film will be available to show We're working with our school district to see how we can get students to see. And one of our juvenile judges has requested that we make this a part of some type of supervised release or probationary requirement for youth that are getting arrested on gun or weapon-related charges, that they must see this film. I'm not going to talk about the film right now. I want you to see it. I know several of you were at the premiere, and several of you have seen it since. It is not a fairy tale ending. It's a very real and honest film. There is some strong language, very little bit, because we have to also communicate to our kids in the way that they understand, right? So with that, I will start the film, and then we can have some discussion after. Very proud of it. I also have with me Samicia Bagley from Safe and Sound Hillsborough, and I also want to recognize one of our leadership council members, Mrs. Gina Justice, who also serves on our Policy and Governance Committee, and most of you who we've worked with in the past. Now I will present Blink. And I apologize, we forgot to bring the popcorn, so just apologize.
Today was supposed to be a good day.
Another shooting. Reports have confirmed at least 2 victims.
A 10-year-old boy and infant both struck.
No one has come forward to identify. Police and paramedics are on the scene. 10-year-old this year.
Another incident of gun violence.
A baby struck. 2 suspects, one at large. The investigation is still ongoing. No one knows why.
This is my story. Never thought I'd be here right now. Nobody would have ever thought this. She's gonna cry when she sees me like this.
Close your eyes. It's a surprise. Boy, quit playing with me.
No, Ma, actually, close your eyes.
All right, give me a second. Okay.
They're supposed to be happy.
Come on, baby. I'm sorry. You are growing up too fast.
You're always gonna have me, you know that, right? I got you. Forever.
I got you.
She did have me. I'm the one who messed up. I love you, Mom. Being an inch away from graduation, you're supposed to feel like you're on top of the world. I can't even focus right now. Not on what I'm supposed to anyways. Things in life change so fast. 12th grade. 12 years. I just wanted to make it 12 more days. I can make it through though. I don't have a choice. For my family, for my friends, except him.
That game on. Yeah, that's Matt. That way running on it for real.
My uncle been here since day one, cause I ain't have nobody else. But he ain't know we was coming over, so it was out this time. Damn, it was my first time seeing it. I was low-key scared, but a part of me wanted to see what it looked like in my hand. See what it felt like. To feel power.
Hey man, y'all boys go out back. We're busy in here. I'll holler at y'all in a little bit.
I wish I hadn't seen it. Now I can't help but to see it. Blood. All this damn blood. No, just blink. Just blink. Just breathe. Blink.
Yo, so what's this beef you got going on with Marcus?
I don't. Ever since him and Jade went through it, he's been looking at me different. But it's no biggie, I can take care of him.
Well, I heard they tried to jump you, but couldn't find you after school.
They tried to jump me?
Yeah, but it's okay though. I got your back. They pulling out sticks, we're pulling out sticks too.
Where the hell did he even learn to talk like that? My little brother? No, not my little brother. Come on, bro. We was just being kids. Kids doing what we do. We ain't have to do that dumb shit. Just play ball. Just play ball, bruh. Give me the rock, I'm gonna shoot a 3 like Curry. Kill a crossover, ain't nothing left. Marcus used to always say that shit. All the time. We used to clown him, but the boy could really ball. He even got the scholarship to state. We just gotta let that shit go.
Victims, including an infant, were hit in today's crossfire. Witnesses say it transformed from a nice day in the neighborhood to people running for regular lives. In the next hour, investigators are canvassing the community for any information that can lead to the arrest of the other individual involved in this incident.
He was only 10 years old. I told you to go home. Why didn't you go home? always gonna happen, you know that, right?
I got you. Forever.
I got you, too.
I found a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I hated Marcus before. Now I hate myself. What does man want now?
Gee, what's going on? You haven't been yourself lately.
It's nothing.
Come on. I know you. You usually kill it in my class. And I'm not going to pretend I don't see the looks you and Marcus... Man, Marcus says! Come on, man. Jade, you can talk to me. We can figure this out. And find the best way to handle whatever this is.
Best way to handle? You keep talking, I'm still beefing. I don't want to hurt nobody, but I feel like everyone hurting me. I want all that stuff. I want to have kids and stuff. I want to have a good life. That baby should have had a good life. Mama's always on me about going with her, but for what? To have some man tell me about how good things were. They say God never puts more on us than you can bear. But I think that's when people were fighting with just sticks and stones, though. Because if God was looking at us now, I think he'd add a little bit more weight on us just because we're so damn hard-headed.
You know what he said? We need to do better. We need to do better. I have some notes here from last night. And I was going to go into another sermon about forgiveness, but we are killing each other. These are our brothers, our sisters, our aunts, our uncles, our nephews, our nieces, being slain in the street. We simply need to do better. That's right.
It all happened so fast. One minute we were boys, the other minute we were shooting each other. Get me out of this place. I'm not supposed to be here. Rewind. Close your eyes. Just blink. We're not here. I'm not supposed to be here. Why am I here? This man is gonna determine my fate. Nah, this can't be real. My mom, she's gonna cry when she sees me like this. I love you, Mom. This ain't my story. Unc did put that thing away, and I didn't see it, because I wasn't ready yet, and I still needed somebody to teach me rights and wrongs in life. To be a better brother so Danny ain't in the situation in the first place, and to save that little baby. I want to build a better life, make my family proud, show the world I'm strong, smart, passionate, loved. Yeah, loved. Letting go of the things that shouldn't even matter. Realizing that sometimes you gotta let that stuff go. And in the end, everybody's better for it. I know I'll be. At least I know I'll be. This is my story. This is my story. That's my dream. But this is my reality.
So that's Blink, everybody. We're very proud of the product and the film and the reception that that we've received so far. But we're more proud of the discussions that we've been able to have throughout the community as we've shown this. We've shown it within events like this. We've shown it at churches. We've shown it to our youth that we work with. Several of the youth from our reporting center were actually participating in the film as extras, and they still talk about it. Yes, we are working on Blink 2 that we'll probably be putting together hopefully over the next year, and more youth are wanting to be involved with it. But right now, we want to make sure that as many people as possible see this, and we're trying to work through that so that we will, in June, have a national release of it. A lot of people have asked, hey, where can we get the link or see it? We've held it for a while because we wanted to make sure that we control the messaging and let people understand that you have to understand why this was put together. There are so many different elements in this short film. In 16 minutes, we cover the gambit, the choices that we make and the reasons for those choices, the lack of coping skills and anger management skills and life skills that our youth don't have. It goes by so quick, you don't even realize that this happened all over a girl. And we understand, we try to teach through this film that life is not about the choices you make, it's about the consequences of those choices. Neither one of the two individuals involved in the shooting were hurt or hit. There were innocent bystanders, an infant and the younger brother. So with that being said, just those points. I want to thank Samicia Bagley, who was also a producer on the film. I served as executive producer. We had a great dynamic director, Mr. Derek Perez, and we appreciate all the support from our leadership council and some of you who helped put this project together. And I'd like to take any questions, comments, or suggestions or feedback.
This is the second time we were there at the premiere, and, you know, the psychological aspects brought out are so accurate in this, and also just the reminder that this youth didn't have a vision for his future, something to be motivated to want to pursue. Is just survival, you know, just and trying to get on a good path versus a bad path, but not what he wanted to do with his life, what were his talents, you know, that would help him to make better decisions. So I thought that really came out in that movie really well.
Yeah, it's, you know, we go through this journey. We're seeing this, and the reason why we called it Blink is he's sitting there and blinks one time, and as we all do, we think about things that we've done or that we should have done, and in the blink of an eye, we replay everything so fast. And we see him making the decisions that he did and then not making them, and realizing that at the end of the day, as much as I want to reverse time and take that back, I can't. And there's so many things from there that if the teacher had stepped to him, you know, a little bit earlier and picked up that, or if mom would have said, hey, I just want to know how your day's doing. If there was someone in his life, a mentor, someone to connect with him, he didn't understand that the faith-based community is there for us, but we got to reach out and get these kids there. And sometimes life happens, but there are different ways to deal with it, right? Mm-hmm. The accessibility of guns issue comes up, where the uncle could have put it up, and the kid said, you know, I just wanted to feel it, to feel power. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to, I'm curious. And so there's so many elements. This is not a debate about guns, ammunition, open carry, any bills or legislation. It's about common sense to get to our kids to let them know there's always a different way to deal with things. And so we see so many lives, not just the two victims, but so many lives wrecked in this film. The main character's life is forever changed, and the other individual's life has changed. The families of the victims that were tragically killed here are affected. The community's affected. And so we have to get our kids to see this. So we're working with our judges to build this as a part of our youth gun offender component, working with our community to put this out. Again, we are going to have a public release, but we still want to have tours. So if we have other agencies or groups that say, hey, we want you to do it. And the reason why we want to continue to do that is we don't want people to just see the film. We want to talk back or some kind of discussion to happen right after it. So we're going to continue to do these tours throughout the county, where Mrs. McGee is helping us get it in Pinellas as well. So, but there are just so many components that we see. We hear the main character say the same thing a couple of times in the film. When he says, my mom, she's going to cry when she sees me. And when he's put in his cap and gown, and then he says it again when he's in court. She's going to cry when she sees me. And he says it was supposed to be a good day because that was the day he was supposed to graduate. It was 12th grade, 12 years. Now, instead of graduating from 12th grade, he's looking at 12 years in prison. And he only had to make it 12 days, and he would have graduated. And so a lot of meaningful and intentional things were put in the film. Any other questions, comments?
Hey. It is so impactful, and I know you're coming, thankfully, to come and speak to my staff. I could see that it would be a really interesting conversation for you to have with some of the providers in our agency and other agencies, because I can eventually see this being a therapy session, you know, a start of several therapy sessions, where to really talk to a provider about all the things that you're saying, about the things to draw out, the things to bring up, that kind of stuff. Watch it with a youth, with a family maybe, and really, kind of talk. So yeah, hopefully as it gets bigger, we'll get there.
Yeah. And I look forward to being over there and showing it. And we did the same thing with the Children's Board and showed it to their staff so that they could then communicate to their providers and say, hey, this might be a good tool in the community to foster dialogue and discussion. Part of our talkback panel at the premiere had not only cast members from the film, but individuals who lost their family members to gun violence. And then a voice we rarely hear from, we had a person who was behind the gun and served 31 years in prison for murder. And the interesting, and when we talk about impact, is a very, very nice gentleman, and he is part of the Corrections Transition Program. They're a group of lifers who are now transitioning back into society because they've really gone through some intense programming and rehabilitation. And he is partnered with us with Safe and Sound to go speak before youth, including youth at our reporting center. And he knew about the film premiere, and I asked him to be on this talkback panel, and he said, I want to be a part of that. And he rehearsed the answer to the one question he knew I was going to ask him. He wrote it, he memorized it, he sat in front of me and said, I want to say it until I got it right. I don't want to miss anything. The question was, what do you say to the persons on the stage that lost their family members to gun violence? What do you say to people in the audience who've lost people or know that people have been lost to gun violence and you were the person behind the gun? And he had this very well put together speech, and he could barely get out the words, I'm sorry. And in the midst of all those folks that were there, he began to cry and break down on the stage. The person who comforted him was right beside him was a gentleman who lost his 16-year-old son to gun violence. And it was a very emotional but impactful moment because everyone in that room at that time realized that it takes all voices to address this issue. So yeah, any other questions, comments?
Freddie, thank you for everything you do with Safe and Sound, and I think most people know this is just one tool in a series of tools that Safe and Sound has implemented over the years to try to address gun violence. 2015, Safe and Sound started going into community centers and the schools to present a mock trial with similar type thought process in cooperation with the University of South Florida. Freddie's always very highly involved in whatever project. Throughout the years, you've done the Safe Summit, both in schools and outside of schools to reach children, the mentorship programs, the reporting center. This is just, you can't do it with one single thing. It's a whole battery of things that you've been doing, and you're so personally involved, and we thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay, we'll move on to public comment. Anyone have public comment today? Announcements. Any announcements? Then at this time, at 10:48 a.m., this was probably our shortest, most efficient meeting ever. We will adjourn.